let's have a look at the wind field. Liking that right-hand side. More breeze over there.
About 10 would be good. Might be a bit of an upper there. Stay on 2 out of it. About that, guys.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period is complete. This race will start on schedule.
So it is race number 2 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. It will be Emirates Team New Zealand. Entry 2 minutes and 10 seconds for the port. It'll be 2 minutes for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The first race, both boats were pretty much out of sync. Let's see how let's be honest, these are the big boys of the regatta.
Yeah, this feels like a big lineup. The defender and the challenger from the last America's Cup. Let's see what they got.
Yeah, we've seen this movie before. Know the feeling and know what this first entry is like against all the teams here, knowing who's on board, and with 7 seconds to go, both these teams should be really accurate with their entry as they're coming in here.
Emirates Team New Zealand pretty much on point. Maybe a second out, you wouldn't worry about that coming into the start box. 2 minutes for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, because this dance is about to get underway.
Interested to see how aggressive this dance is going to be. This is practice racing, remember. This is early days for our summer in Barcelona.
Before reaching here.
Fairly quiet, fairly quiet. Maybe it's all in the head now. They're not letting us know, Glenn.
Both these teams will know exactly what they need to do here. They'll have seen this movie and played this out on the simulator thousands of times.
Slow 10 for there. 30. Got it. 2 boards. We're almost down in the boat.
Luna Rossa opting for leading back.
Going to bottom here. Nice. Up hard. You can always hit it for net. Everyone, eh?
So Emirates Team New Zealand here looking to keep a little bit of gauge. Luna Rossa trying to close the gauge. Emirates Team New Zealand rolling over the front of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Swapping positions there.
Still a lot of time to kill.
20 for the boat, 40 total. That's last. 6 for the pin. Charge is about 13. No track for me. Okay, on time for the pin now. That's pretty slow. 25 to the start. And you're there. All good. Just 22. Down as well. 19. Big push, boys. Yeah, they're starting to come out now. Yeah, big push, you guys. Happening. One border. 13. All good on the pin.
10 seconds to go for race 2. Who gets the start?
Start edging. Racing.
Both boats beautifully timed to the start, but it's Emirates Team New Zealand with their nose in front. Race 2 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. What a start!
Yeah, fantastic start there, both boats. I think Emirates Team New Zealand there executed that a little better than Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and they'll be wanting to stay in touch with Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli here as they head across. They'll be wanting to not give them too much gauge and make them pay. Use that small advantage to really make them pay on this next intersection over the next minute or so.
Let's go to Peter Lester on Chase Zero, our hydrogen zero emission boat. Pete, what did you make at the start?
Well, different venue, but same game as what we saw in Auckland, of course, in 2021. And Jimmy Spittle against Peter Burling, that's first class, that's the first division. But lovely start by both boats. I give a slight advantage to Emirates Team New Zealand as we're coming up to the first cross.
One more down. Slow stream. And button. Just on the bottom of one.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli having to tack away there. There was no way they were going to be able to live there. So really, really tight racing there. It'll be interesting to see how far Emirates Team New Zealand let them go here. Not too far by the looks of that early tack. So they'll be wanting to keep really, really tight and try and maintain that advantage over Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli all throughout this beat as they tack back and try and go bow on bow.
wind looks good in that right-hand side. The wind field telling us that there's more pressure right where the Italians are.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, no.
Mistake by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. How costly will that be?
Could be a possible shutdown of the boat there for those guys. Not sure what's going on there. We'll try and listen.
Yeah, you got nothing.
Maybe the boat is back here, guys.
Hey, let's try and get a jib.
Just try and get a replay on this now. Just having a look, coming out of the tack.
Lost the boat.
Yeah, they've said they've lost the boat, so that will be a systems failure on the boat, which is a real shame for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli at this point of the proceedings. You can just see there, they've lost the boat. Rudder's basically gone full negative and just forced the bow of the boat into the water, so they've had to actually do a full shutdown there and
Lost the boat.
ease everything off. So real shame there for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Hopefully we'll get some more information
Lost the boat.
in time to come.
Glenn, just explain, what does that mean? You've lost the boat. It's the computer or the power or everything?
Yeah, look, basically it'll be a system shutdown on the boat, so the computer basically will shut down, so all functionality on board the yacht that's controlling the foils and the sails will generally shut down. So sometimes you can lose little things, but this sounds like the whole boat has actually gone into a shutdown mode. So it's a bit of a shame. You can hear Jimmy Spittle saying there they've got the boat back, so it's obviously rebooted, and unfortunately they'll be out of the race from here.
In the meantime, it's Emirates Team New Zealand just sailing away, you might say, in race number 2. Heading towards the top mark without anyone pushing them. But again, regardless of anyone pushing them, this is invaluable practice for any team, regardless of the situation.
I can't see them on from outside. Oh, well. Let's take it up in Apex.
Emirates Team New Zealand are rounding the mark for the first time on leg 1 of 6 in this Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta.
Let's build it into this.
Let's go down to chase 0. I'm going to ask you the question, Pete. It all looks so easily, but those mark roundings, how tough are they?
I think one of the key points is going from upwind, downwind, and you know, it's quite controllable now. It's only about 11, 12 knots, but watch out when the breeze gets up. I think it's one of those manoeuvres that you can really judge the differences between the teams in terms of boat handling, crew work. But what was going through my mind as that race started to unfold was how close Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and Emirates Team New Zealand are. I was starting to think maybe when they got into a little bit of tacking that the New Zealanders seemed to be coming out of the tacks and getting back to target speed just a click quicker, maybe half a boat length quicker than Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. But you know, what we've just witnessed just illustrates again reliability, because that will be a talking point through this 37th America's Cup.
So there's a good sign for fans of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The silver bullet is back up and going after what you have described potentially as a systems issue, Glenn.
Yeah, look, these things happen, and you know, in early days of racing, you know, you're implementing new systems and you're still working through. So although, you know, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli will be very, very disappointed with that, I'm sure they'll be working through it. They're a very, very experienced team, a lot of really, really clever, good people that are very, very experienced. So disappointing for the team, but I'm sure they'll work through it, and we'll be seeing them fighting hard as we go forwards for sure.
This is the first of racing, and it is an increased intensity. You're pushing the boat harder, you're pushing everything harder, aren't you? And there is going to be issues.
There will be, and you know, pushing the boat hard, you know, in racing, you know, potentially, you know, trimming and sailing the boats compared to when you're sailing around by yourself, you're using, you know, 30 to 40% more oil, for example, with the sails, just by having to push hard against another boat. So the cyclors having to push extra hard during racing, just to compare to sort of sailing around by yourself. You can do some mock-up manoeuvres, but there's nothing like actually being in racing competition.
I spoke to some of the British cyclors this morning. They said it'd been a 20% increase in demand come race day.
Emirates Team New Zealand, they will not be pushing this boat any harder than they need to now. Just take Tauhoru quietly through the rest of the race, being mindful, of course, that they want to pick up the 1 point as well in the preliminary regatta standings.
Yeah, learnings every minute you're sailing these boats as new equipment and new settings and new tuning is coming on board, new sea state. Obviously the waves and the sea state that Mother Nature provides is different every day. So every time you're out in the water is a big gain.
It's just worth looking at the bottom left of the screen, and that's downwind speed as we see Emirates Team New Zealand head towards the bottom mark for the first time to complete leg number 2. We can tell you that the Italians yesterday hit 52 knots, and we were all just slack-jawed and open-mouthed going, what have we just seen? These boats are incredible, incredible machines.
Glenn, you were part of the Defenders team at the last Cup in New Zealand. You know, how important are these early chances to race against the challengers?
Yeah, really, really important for Emirates Team New Zealand, you know, to take this opportunity to be able to line up and do some racing with some other teams, because as the defender, you don't get to do the Louis Vuitton final or the semi-finals, so you really are lacking race time when it comes to actually lining up for the first race of the America's Cup. So these races now, the learnings out of this is absolutely invaluable for the team, you know, for the whole team going forward.
New to the team, of course, Nathan Outridge. We had a lovely shot of him. Port Helm with the defender. What's he added to this mix?
Look, Nathan is a very, very experienced campaigner, and he certainly knows both Pete and Blair very, very well. After years and years of sailing 49ers and Olympic skiff classes together, you know, those guys know each other really, really well. So I think Nathan's been an absolutely brilliant inclusion into the team, and you know, as a fellow Australian, I'm happy for him to fly the flag for us.
Well, the other thing too is he was a competitor against Peter Burling as well in his Olympic days. So having someone to push an individual in your own team, it's the perfect scenario for any team.
Look, it really is a fantastic program for the team, and the boys, as I said, know each other really, really well. They've done a lot of sailing against each other. They know how to push each other. They know how to develop together and really wind each other up and get the best out of the boat. So, you know, really technical guys, both of them, and I think with Blair and also with Andy Maloney and the rest of the team, you know, with a great coaching staff as well behind the scenes in Ray Davies and Josh Jr. You know, you just look at this boat sailing now and you go, wow, there's not too much that you'd sort of change with that, how it's being sailed through the water at the moment.
We will see more of this shot throughout all the different boats, but it's still beggars belief to any non-sailor. How the hell are they doing that? Sailing at 40 knots on a rudder there and a foil there.
Certainly a picture of technology and efficiency, and, you know, really raising the bar, you know, for what our sport of yachting can showcase. And whilst it's a shame not to sort of see an epic battle between these two powerhouse teams, a real shame to have Luna Rossa drop out of that race. Seeing Team New Zealand obviously sail the boat around the track, and what we're going to see in the future is very exciting.
So Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli rounding the bottom mark for the first time after their systems failure, but they're up and going, and they'll want to figure it out as they continue on.
Can you open the comms with the boat? There's an issue. You want to stop the boat, please?
Well, that was
Italy. Can you please confirm that you have retired so that we can open up the comms?
Well, that was first their coach, Philip Presti, asking them to retire. Obviously, they monitor the boat on the coach boat as well, and there's issues on board.
Well, they're going down.
Italy, this is the race committee. Can you please confirm you have retired so that we can open up the comms?
We have, thank you, race committee.
Race committee. Italy, we've retired.
So
thanks for that, Italy. Race committee copies.
Confirmation that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have pulled the pin on race number 2 in this Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. Real shame, because you got to say, even in the early stages of that race, it was game on. You saw something, didn't you? I mean, let's be honest, there was something there.
Yeah, it was so exciting, wasn't it, for the first few minutes when there was 20 metres behind them. I mean, what is that, like a second or something? Nothing between them. But a very sensible approach. They need to preserve the asset, look after it, and they were worried, we heard on the onboard comms, they were worried about the barrelways. So, you know, safety.
Emirates Team New Zealand completing the halfway mark, heading on the downwind leg, but they'll be safe in the knowledge they've picked up the 1 point in race number 2 of this Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. Look, cyclos, yeah, we're still going. We're just going to keep grinding out. And the amount of work they have to do constantly is ridiculous.
You know, we saw the dual helm position on Luna Rossa in the last Cup in New Zealand, but now they have all adopted it. And just look there, I mean, how do they even see where they're going? There is a tiny bit of helmet sticking over the top. Really difficult visibility.
Yeah, the cyclors obviously having a screen in front of them there. They're not just looking at the floor. There's plenty of information down there, screens, buttons. They've actually got, it's funny, everyone thinks they're just pedaling, but they're not. They've actually got a lot of gear changing to do, pump management, oil pressure management. The list goes on and on.
Let's go on to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Francesco Bruni is waiting for us. Hi, Francesco. Yeah, it's a tough start to the day, isn't it?
Can you guys hear me fine?
Francesco, that's a tough start for the day, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately.
Echo, can you hear the broadcast on your comms?
Yeah, it's a very hard start the day like this, but luckily that's why we have these preliminary events. Yeah.
Francesco, you said you lost the boat. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
Can you guys hear me fine?
Yes, mate. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, it must have been an electrical issue. I'm 99% sure it was an electrical problem. Basically, we had no functions on the boat working for something like 20 seconds after the tug. So, yeah, it was not ideal. A little bit scary as well when you have zero control of the boat. Luckily, it happened in a moment where we could get control again. It was not a better way or around that, but yeah, not ideal.
All right, mate, we'll leave you alone, but we look forward to seeing you up against Orient Express Racing in the last race of the day.
Thank you, guys.
So, there you have it. And the one key word that he used there, scary. Lose control of the boat of those, what are they, 3 ton, around 3 ton now, aren't they?
Oh, 7 tons, 7 tons. The AC40's around sort of 2.2 tons, and the big AC75's in around 7,000 kilos. So it's a lot of mass. When you
runaway elephant.
It's a runaway elephant, absolutely. And as we're watching Emirates Team New Zealand here, you can imagine going along on a freight train and then having zero control, and it's not a good feeling, that's for sure.
Yes, I think scary encapsulates that pretty well, Claire.
been there and seen it. It's not ideal.
We can enjoy these shots, can't we? I mean, look at it. So much aero detail in development in the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, Shirley, it's been really interesting to see the development of all the boats as we're watching Emirates Team New Zealand tack here, and each team has obviously taken slightly different approaches, except the French, because they have the same package as Emirates Team New Zealand, but each of the other teams have really taken subtle different approaches, and we've seen a real convergence of the design philosophy, with the boats as we've gone into these Gen 3 AC75s.
On that subject, we're going to see 2 very different philosophical approaches to boat design in the next race with American Magic and Ineos Britannia, because there's been lots of chat about both boats and whether you like it, whether you don't like it, how efficient it's going to be, but we will see that in the next race.
Okay, go for another one on 5. 1, 3, 2, 1. Doesn't go green if it's already at 72.
You only have to stick your head out the sunroof to realise how important aero is, don't you?
Yeah, really interesting shots here on board. So basically, when you're doing sort of 38, 39 knots upwind at times when it's windy, and you've about 25 knots of breeze, it's like 100 kilometres an hour over your head. So you want to keep your head down.
Confirmation, winner race 2, Emirates Team New Zealand. That's come from our race management committee, so they get the 1 point, the all-important 1 point. Remember, they race each other once, and then the top 2 on the last day will face off in the match race final to win the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here in Barcelona.
Yeah, they were like 2 boards in on exit run around.
Looking at the start here, obviously a super close start. Shirley really engaged. Both boats, a fantastic battle there.
Yeah, it's a good sign for the future, isn't it? We're going to have some exciting racing. And so quickly went into textbook, attacking and defending.
And then this moment here, just the loss of the boat. And we were really looking forward to some fantastic racing, and unfortunately an electrical issue on Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. And we were so excited to see these boats engage around the rest of the race.
Race committee copies.
Yeah, heartbreak for Luna Rossa, but in part, as Francesco said, this preliminary regatta is for getting rid of these gremlins, making sure you turn up to the show in good shape. What a lap of honour, though. They were enjoying themselves out there, weren't they, Glenn? I mean, faultless sailing by the defender.
And the key moment here, obviously in this race, the shutdown of the boat there, the rudder going into full negative, so basically the elevator of the boat just shutting off and forcing the bow of the boat right under the water there. And you heard pretty much immediately the crew on board just saying, we've lost the boat, we've lost the boat. And that's not a nice feeling when you're on board a 7-ton carbon fibre missile.